Good. All right. I'll just use this to share with others. I'm just going to share my screen or one of them. What will I do? I'll share the screen. Share the window rather than the screen. Here we go. Optimize for video. Share sound. All right, so let's get underway. Just give me a second while I move the window across so you can see it. Okay. Right there. All right, let's try that. Oh, it's saying that screen sharing has failed to start. Please try again later. That's interesting. View. Let me try it a different way. Sorry, guys, just give me 1 sec. Gotta make this a bit bigger. All right, hopefully you can see that okay. Is that showing now?
Yeah.
Okay. I know there's a window I can see here what I'm presenting because right now I'm blind. I don't know what I'm presenting, but anyway, we'll see how we go. So today I just wanted to cover just basically how to create a profile from a provided template. I think I sent this to you in January, but I can resend it again. Basically how to clip video using VO or MSA. MSA we probably won't cover today. We may do it at another time. Just because it's a little bit more, well, it's just it take more time, and I think it'd be better off to focus on the other things. How we can put it together in iMovie, and then how we could also export it for extra highlight effects using Metrica, and then finally adding a link back into your profile. So let's see if we can get through most of that today. So this is a form I sent out. Can everyone remember getting this? I believe I sent it out via TeamSnap. So if you don't have it on your laptop or on your computer, wherever you're viewing it, you can always go back to the TeamSnap messages and see this. So it's a generic form. It's editable. I sent it to you as a Pages document and as a Microsoft Word file as well. So basically what we want to start with is this, and I guess, yeah, just if we go through it step by step, you can obviously add your picture in there where the picture logo is. I mean, I know you guys are pretty good on computers, so I don't want to spend too much time going over this, but just to basically say, this is an important aspect. All right, so we have to make sure that we get this form keep it up to date. Well, firstly, we build it, then we keep it up to date. So in this form, you see it's got the phone number, it's got the email address you can edit, you can put your GPA score at the top, the team that you're in, your name obviously in your photo. Then under athletics, basically just some basic information. So I copy this from my son's one, so you're going to see some stuff there about North Toronto or whatever, so don't worry about that. But your date of birth and your basic information there under athletics, how which foot you use, that kind of thing, what position you play, your jersey number, just the basic things. Then in this one they had some testing time, so if you think there's some other tests that coaches would like to know about, I think the 2 mile time is one that I've seen the US coaches seem more interested in. Canadian coaches, it might be your beep test score, so that's something you can maybe make a decision on. Don't worry about the NCAA eligibility number unless you're going down to the US. That's something that you get basically in your junior year when you start to yeah, you can apply for a number. I think it costs about $60, and then you can basically apply to any school in the US. As far as academics, all that should be pretty straightforward. Just fill out that under the academic tab. Make sure you check which courses are going to be relevant for you in terms of where you might want to go. That's it. So all this can apply to Canadian and US schools equally, but it's just whichever program you're applying for, you can drop it can include certain subjects and uninclude other ones depending on which one you're going to into. So they take your best score out of the ones that you're doing in grade 11 and 12 as you go through. It's just something I'm learning about right now, so something to think about. But anyway, with all these other things, I think this is pretty straightforward. Just make sure you fill this out. Make sure you can include me as a reference, you include Mark as a reference. Any previous coaches who lie and say nice things about you, then you can put them in there as well. Okay. That was a joke. So video highlights, once we finish this process, you can actually go into this document here, and just where you see that logo for the movie, you can just edit that link and add your clip link there. Okay. Sorry. I'll just go through this quickly. So obviously there's different versions of software you can use to edit it. That's not really important. Some people like to use Canva, for instance. So that's cool if you want to use that, no problem at all. Google Docs, Office 365. And if you don't have Pages, if you don't have a Mac, you can always go to iCloud.com via your Apple login, and you should have a free access to iCloud to create it via Pages using this template if you want to. This is the back part of the sheet. So I don't know what happened. Oh, it hasn't covered up all of it. So this is the back part of the profile form. So it's a personal statement, and a lot of coaches will, and universities require that you have a personal statement as well. But it's good. It's a good look to have on your profile sheet. So just take some time to craft something there where you talk about why it is you play soccer and why it is you want to go to that particular institution. Because it's easy just to say, yeah, I like soccer and I like hanging out with my friends and it's a game I love. But if you actually have a look through, this is just one example, but you can talk to what sort of role it plays in your life and in your development, and why it's important to you, critical to you to go maybe to that university, so you can adapt this to whichever place you're going to. Sometimes you don't need to, but it can be nice to put something in there that's personalized towards that institution that you're sending the profile form to. Okay, so just something to think about there. Any questions on any of that so far? You can put it in the chat if you like, or okay, I'm not seeing any. So yeah. So why don't we continue on? What I suggest is, especially for the older ones, you should have this done already. But if you don't, you need to have this done by the end of not spring break, by March break. So make sure you get into it. And for the younger ones too, I suggest you have this done. By then, you can have your first stab at it. You're going to refine it. It's not going to be perfect. You are going to change it because the information and your results academically are always changing anyway. So you can add, keep refining it and adding more information. So clipping highlights and downloading from VO. My apologies, when I looked on there today, I hadn't realized that most of you don't. Because I was used to last year's team having access to VO, I didn't realize that you hadn't been invited onto the platform directly. So yeah, I think some of the videos we were doing might still be on the old account or something. But anyway, I sent you out an invite today that you should have received, at least the younger ones, just to come onto the. I'm still waiting for admin access to the League One Reserve VO account. Once I get that, I'll send an invite to you a bit later on. Okay, but for the younger ones, you've got the invite now. Basically, accept that invite, and it basically brings you onto the VO platform. So basically, what I'd like to do is to show you how to create and download highlights in VO. So just let me get out of the app here and I'll see if I can find that. 1 second, out of the presentation, sorry. Here we go. So you can see here, these are my teams and the recording. So if I look under, can everyone still see the screen? Just yeah, okay. So under teams, I see these teams here. So girls under 17s, under 17 OPDL 2022 is last year's team. If I go on to, if I look at the members here, I've got 7 members under the under 17 team. So that means they've started adding their, accepting the invitation. So keep accepting those invitations, because then you're now added as editors for the younger ones. The older ones, you'll have the same access. You'll be editors as well. And why that's important is so then you can actually edit your own clips and start to develop the skills you need within VO. So if I go to the game against Roma, sorry, just make this a bit bigger so hopefully it comes out okay. Just a couple of things I wanted to show you. So there's the game. I'm just going to pause there. So if we look here under, there's analytics, which we'll go into another time. There's highlights list, which has been automatically generated, but you can also add to that. So if I click on highlights list there, it shows all the things like shots on goals. You can see the shots on goals already have a thumbnail there. And the reason for that is because throughout my day to day when I was supply teaching, I was actually looking at those and getting them to save them. So you've got the option here to save individual moments to your highlights reel. Okay, you save them and then you can actually download them. Okay, it does give you an option to download all, but then it becomes a really big file which has got every single thing that the AI has figured out. So if you want to refine it, what you can do is you go filter. So you see here under these 3 dots at the top, you can play them all, you can filter them, you can save all AI highlights, or you can download them all. So the first step is just to go to filter, and you can see attacking and defending. You can see teams, event tags, that kind of thing. So depending on how you want to do it, you can just look at all attacking or all defending. You can go and tag the game for your own things. So for instance, where is it? I think this is a separate one. So you can create a, sorry, it's called creating a highlight. So if you see a moment that you like, you can just create a highlight. And then what it will do is it will allow you to tag that, to make it publicly accessible or not, or to make it private, only the players involved. But basically, there's a whole bunch of highlights that I've created for myself here. When you go to your page, sorry, your screen, you're not going to see these because these are specific to my account. But you can start to create tags, your own tags, basically specific to things that you want to see. All right. So going through that process, if I was to click here, for instance, I'm just going to choose a moment at random. Hopefully it doesn't take. So this is a build out from the back moment. And it, you know, say I'm Naya and I want to clip that moment. Okay, so I'm going to press create tag. Well, actually, I don't need to create a tag. I've got enough tags here, but you can create a tag and you can call it whatever, possession moment, defending moment, highlight, you can call it mistake, whatever you want that identifies it to you. All right, so I'm just going to call it highlight. Okay, now within, so you see here in the timeline, it's created this moment, 30 seconds long. You can trim that. You can trim that and make it longer or shorter because we don't really need it that long. Sorry, 1 second. Maya's action here, sorry, Naya's action. I'll stop calling you Maya one day, Naya. Naya's action here is where that bubble is. It's right in the middle of this timeline. So it's 15 seconds. It's right in the middle. So the clip is basically 15 seconds before that and 15 seconds after that. So if we don't want it that long, I'm just going to shorten it to about 13:11. Okay, for this one. All right, and you see there, it's just to be about where Matty's going to kick the ball and the referee's going to blow his whistle. I can shorten it a bit there to maybe just make it, say, 10 seconds long. All right, and the other aspect is you can, so you can just see here, Anamika's, I think it's Anamika, sorry, who is that? Can't see who that is. Sorry, someone's running with the ball on the other side. I can make that a little bit longer, but it's very sensitive. So however long I want to make it, I can. But the cool thing is you can actually, if you want to go back to the start here, just a little bit further on. So we'll just let it run on. See if I can play that. So it's right now it's on what's called follow cam. You can also make it interactive. So for instance, if you're looking at a moment right now, so our focus is on Naya and her creating her clip. By the way, just to finish that process, we just go create highlight like that. Okay, so I'll just do that just so it's clear. So I've created a highlight there. And because it's under highlights, I can just filter for that highlight when I go back up into here. And I should be able to find that. So if I go into, where's filter? Quick filters, event tags, let's see. Should be highlights. So you see there under highlights, there's one highlight now. So if I click on that and apply the filters, it's just going to show me that one moment where Naya is playing that longer pass. The ball starts with Maddie. Okay. And she's playing that longer pass and it goes through to, I think that might, I'm sorry, I can't tell who that is. So anyway, that's where it is. And the reason why I want to show you that is once you've done that, you can now, it's just processing in the background. It says, you'll see it comes up the message, we're still rendering your highlight, which means it's doing whatever it needs to do. And it might take some time. So you have to be patient. When it's ready, you can actually just download that and then it's ready for you to do stuff with in, say, iMovie. Okay, now you can also edit it to change the length of it again. And also the other thing I was going to mention was, if you see a moment where you want to watch yourself, say for scanning, say the ball's on the other side of the field or in the other half of the field, and say I wanted to watch, is that Ava Blaney there, okay? So if I wanted to, oh God, why is this not stopping? Sorry, one sec. Sorry, I'll just go back a touch and get it to behave. I'm just clicking it too many times. All right, so what I can do is I can go on interactive, and if you're in Google Chrome or in Firefox, not whatchamacallit, not Safari or anything else, it'll go into interactive mode. And because it's got two cameras working, it's actually, even though the AI is working on following the ball, it's actually got every other player in view here. So you can see here, if we want to do this tactical view, if we want to create a tactical view like this, or if you want to see what you're doing as the left winger when the ball's with the right center back, you can actually create this clip to show you basically and what you're doing. All right, so we'll just let this play on. Hopefully it's going to behave. So just let me see if I might need to just touch something here just to get it going. All right, so it's going there. So you can see on the far side, you're going to have to play around with it a little bit. Sometimes it has a bit of a lag effect. But see here now, Cami is starting to make a forward run there, and I've gotten a little bit behind. So I can go backwards a little bit just by clicking it here, just to go a little bit earlier. Okay, maybe a little bit earlier, just to rewind a bit. But what I'm going to do is add a keyframe when I'm ready. But I'm just going to touch my what you may call it, touch my mouse, the little arrow thing. I'm going to turn the screen. So what I can actually rotate the screen by just grabbing on the screen. So if I want to see what the far goalkeeper's doing here, I can just drag it to the right, and it will eventually show me what that goalkeeper there is doing. Okay, so if I just want to focus on her, or if I want to go back to our goalkeeper or our left back or whatever, or whoever, whatever player, I can actually just do what's called keyframing, and I can just follow that player. So in this case, I believe is that Cammy there? I think it is. I'm just going to do what's called adding a keyframe. So I can do that, and basically it just adds a point there to say to the camera where the camera was focusing on at that moment. That's where I want it to be when I go back. So then if I click on a bit and the camera is now focused in the middle, but Cammy's moving out of the shot. Again, apologies, this is slow. It's just the nature of the beast. So you see there, play's moved on, but the camera is still paused in the middle. So I might want it to catch up a little bit, or I might want to go and look at what my left back's doing, whatever position you're in. If you want to look at your scanning, or if you want to look at you just in a certain moment, you can do that. So I just wanted to make that point. I don't want to beat it up too much, but you can add another keyframe in there if you like. You can pan and tilt with the video. Just be patient with it, because again, it's still not the easiest to use at times. And then once you're finished, if you're happy with the length of it, you can still adjust it and make it shorter or longer if you like. You can just drag those handles in at the ends and make it shorter or longer. Just be patient, and then just click save. Okay. So there you go. So you can download those bits, and then what I wanted to show you is what do we do once we've downloaded those bits. So I'll just quickly go back to my presentation. 1 second. Sorry, any questions? Any questions? No questions so far. All right. So within this document, when I share it, these links will be able to take you to these pages. To VO, you've got the access to it, but to some of the other ones, you're going to, it's going to be helpful because these links will actually be for new stuff. But basically, look, VO has lots of tutorials on how to do this stuff and a web page. So I've embedded some links there. The next part is basically creating a video in, let's see, should we do iMovie or Metrica? Let me show you iMovie first, and then we can get into Metrica if we have time. So basically in iMovie, you're going to follow these steps. You're going to create an event. You're going to import video from VO or MSA into the event. You're going to create a new movie, and you're going to add a title slide, which I'm going to show you how to do in a second. And then within your document, when you're creating your movie, it's important that you create your best moments first. All right. So you've got to do the stuff that the coach is going to be instantly attracted to your play and what you're best at. Okay. So I'm just going to show you an example. I'm just going to pull up my son's. No more than 5 minutes for your video. If you want to do 3 or 4 minutes, that's perfect. You don't have to. It's just basically you're just trying to make an impression on the coach. You're not trying to show them every single touch that you've ever done and every play from 2 years ago. It's just what's recent, what's good, and what's presentable, what's good quality video. So I'm just opening up iMovie. Just give me 1 second. The other thing is find a song that you can add that's not going to trip up the what do you call it, the software copyright people, the digital rights management. So there is some free stuff that's out there that you can definitely use. You just look up royalty-free music, and you will be able to. Sorry, I'm just plugging in an external hard drive here. Royalty-free music, and you'll be able to add that music to iMovie. Or if you've got another app that you want to use, say on a PC that works for Movie Maker or something, then feel free to use that. Okay. Please don't add the music that's got the profanities in there. I think you guys know the music. I mean, it's just us older folk, some of us listen to that music, but it's just not necessary when it's on it's on a profile video. Okay, even though it might be cool and hip and all that stuff. So anyway, just let me pull this in here. So a couple of important things. So I open this up. let me just find, so I've just opened up. So iMovie, you can create these, what we call events here down the side. So you can see here, I've created an actual library, which has basically got a lot of my son's stuff on there from different camps. So this event was from Akron, this event was from Evansville, et cetera, et cetera. I've got some of my teaching stuff in there too in separate libraries. So you see here, it's quite easy to organize your stuff so you've got it in place. So then you can edit it. iMovie is really easy to use in terms of editing. It doesn't do the flash stuff, but it does the simple stuff really well. So I'll just give you an example. The first thing you've got to worry about, I'll just see if I can pull up an example for my son's stuff. We get here. Okay, so where is it? So where is it? 551, no, I can't be it. 453, this one here. So this is for February 2023. So you've got, again, this is a thing where you're always editing it, you're always updating it. So this is the title slide, and I'll just play it on here. He's got that music on there. Anyway, I don't know if I can turn it down. So that's just the title slide. And then you start going into the main bits. Fortunately, the fog was a bit thick that way. Anyway, it's probably a bit laggy because it's on the internet, but you get the idea. You put your goals in there if you're a striker, or even if you say you're a defender and you're going up for corners, or if you put a cross in for somebody who scores a goal. You see here, some of these videos have some highlights that I've put on there. So where is it? Back here, I think. See there's that yellow spotlight effect. I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. All right. But just going back to this slide here, I'll just show you one that I created earlier, and I'll share this template with you. Just be a second. Where's that gone? Okay, so you see here, this is my son's one, and basically it's just got like a field background, and you can just add that in there. And I don't know if you guys have got access to Keynote. This is where I've done it, but basically you just put a pitch in there. You put this what do you call it? A text box, and you can just make it transparent. So you can just add what's called opacity to it. Sorry, let me go into. So I click on formatting here. So anyway, let me go back on. I'll go back onto Avery's. So this isn't Avery's actual one. I just chose a play at random. So basically, the steps are this: if you want to create a title slide that can become a movie, you just create a blank slide to start with. All right. Then you can put your picture there. I just chose one at random. It was Avery. So if I was to choose someone else, it would be, I don't know. I've got those mug shots you sent me before. They're going to use in the software later. My meeting's ending in 10 minutes. That's not good. Where is it? Hang on. Burlington headshots. So if I just chose someone at random, say maybe it's Anamika. I'm going to insert is that okay, Anamika, if I just use your head?
Sure.
Okay, so you're in there, Anamika. And you guys can change this, you can edit it. So you just have it to one side, you add your text box with your achievements, your summaries, whatever. And the next step is, so once I post this in here, if you don't have to do a title slide, you can just do it on white as well. You don't have to do it on black. It's just personal preference, just as long as it's clear. Okay, if you got white writing, it should be on black, or darker surface if it's a darker background. If you got dark writing, it should be on white. But what's the other thing? So you can change the style of this image here. So say if I wanted to go, what color background do you want, Anamika?
We can do blue.
Blue. All right, let's go. Let's see, I've got to be on the right page here. All right. So you see there the color fill within Keynote. And again, there's lots of different apps you can use to edit this, right? The reason why I choose Keynote is simply because I can create a movie out of this, the transitions in it, okay? So if you've got something like PowerPoint that you can do that, I can go light blue. Oh, that's a bit light. Maybe I can go darker. What do you think? Darker still? How's that? You like that?
Perfect.
All right. So what we're going to do, and we can create something where, you know, I've done this already here, but whatever Anamika's position is and when she's graduating, we want to make sure that's clear. So we can put that there. Again, we might put it on a dark background like I did with Avery. But then the trick behind this is to then go, well, what order I want these to appear in. So what I might do is I might say, well, Anamika, I want your image to appear first. So I'm going to go into animate. I'm going to add an effect, and I'm just going to go, how about we use flash bulbs? There we go, Anamika. You got flash bulbs. There you go. Now, and then the next step would be to get this achievement sort of slide to appear. So if we look at what that looks like, so now you can see the order is important. So we go into build order. And what I can do is we can move this around. So Anamika, which order do you want this? You want your head to come first and then the information?
Sure.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab that. I'm going to drag it to the top. I'm just going to drop it on top of the slide. And it means that both of these will, Anamika's head will go first, the picture, and then the next bit will go after that. Okay. And then her graduating year and position, I can move that up a bit so it's automatic. So in Keynote, if you add these and make them continuous, like right on top of each other, they'll go straight after each other, okay? So if I preview this now, sorry, I'll preview that again. You can just see what it looks like. So it goes like that, and then that, and then that, all right? So now if I want that as a movie, I'm just gonna select that. I'm gonna go File, export to a movie. Probably going to use 1080 format because, and so in this one, I got 3 slides there, right? So I don't want all 3 slides. I just want the last slide. So I'm going to go from 3 to 3. If you're doing PowerPoint, I'm not exactly sure how it does it. So you might have to figure that out. But again, Keynote, I think, has a free version as part of iCloud. And then I just go, export, okay, and call it Anamika slide. Sorry, Anamika, I'm butchering your name here. I've used 2 Ks as well. I'm not going very well here. Anyway, I'm going to export that out, and it creates a movie. And what I can then do is go back into iMovie. And just import that in. So you just, in iMovie, you just go, you click that downward arrow, and then you just go in and find where that movie is, or you can actually just drop it in if you can find it in your drive. I always find iMovie hard to actually find stuff, which is odd given that it's, and you can't search it. So I'm going to look under, anyway, you get the idea. You just drop it in there, and it'll go in, and it'll be your first slide, and it'll basically look something like that, where you got your background like that. Anyway, don't need to hear the music. The music, by the way, all you do is you just go in iMovie, you go to audio and video. Once you find your digital rights free music, you can just, if you add it into your iTunes library, it will show up here. So give it a name, and then all your iTunes content will go there. And as long as it's not digitally protected, i.e. you're just trying to take it directly out of Apple Music, it'll be fine to just add in at the bottom. And basically you just go, you just add it, you just drag it like that and drop it down to the bottom, and just position it exactly where you want it to start, which will be at the bottom of the clip. And I'm not going to drag that audio book in there. That will be bad. So from there, once you're happy with, you can add in your clips. So if I was going to add in, I'll just go out of here for 1 second and just show you what this might look like in terms of a new movie. Okay, we'll put it in there. Okay, I'm just going to go back up to here. So I had some clips that I created from that game before. I'm just going to pull them up. I'm just going to drag and drop them in just because it'll be a little bit quicker. So I'm going to put Avery's slide in there just so it's good to go. So I'm just going to drop that in and trim this up a little bit. So Avery's slide's in there now. You can see that, all right? So let me get these clips. So when you export out, it will go into your downloads folder somewhere. So just know where you download stuff to. I'm just going to select all those files. I'm actually not even going to create an event for this. I'm just going to actually just drag them all. So these are all shots. So these are all shots that I just managed to find. So within iMovie, you just drag and drop those in. You can put them directly into an event, so you keep stuff organized, but you can just drag it and drop it straight into the movie. So you have to create a new movie. But no, I think by default, it actually comes up with a fresh movie thing that you can just drop it into. You can see here the little circles mean that it's still being added in. And then if I scrub through here, so I just take this line and you can just see here it's got all of our shots in there one after the other. Okay, so then it's just about deciding which content you want to go in there. So imagine these are your highlights. And then the next thing is just to decide you want to do some things like transitions. So that just means how do you want it to look between each moment? So for me, I just like to use a cross dissolve. So you can just do, if you click on settings here, you can actually just go automatic content like that, and it'll just automatically add in blurs here. So it's just a so they've had a so you just see here as it goes through, it just transitions to that next slide. Okay, now I'm just going to zoom out a little bit here. So we don't like this, so we don't want to have the parents talking in the background. Okay, so what we can do here is we just go, you can either just drag down on that line there. So if I just hover my arrow above, there's a volume here, the switch almost for each clip, for each clip, yeah, and you just drag it down. It just basically, that volume is, that sound is still there. You can actually detach it if you want and get rid of it completely. You just go detach audio like that, and it will actually just get rid of it. And you see it's just hanging off the bottom now. I can just delete it. Okay, and now it's not in there. It's just completely blank. But otherwise, if you don't have time, just grab it like that and drag it down to 0%, which means you can't hear it at all. Okay. From there, once you're happy with the clips, you can export it out, because the next step is to actually add some other special effects to it if we have time. But basically all I would do here is go File, Export, or Share. And what you can do is just share it as an email file, a YouTube or Facebook file, which is what I tend to do, or just as a regular file. All it does is just tends to create a file of a certain size. They're all pretty similar. So you see here, I'm just going to call it. So the next part we want to get to is using Metrica to add special effects. Okay. So what's Metrica? It's basically a piece of software that coaches use. Actually, I use quite a bit when I'm doing presentations. And the more expensive versions of it will just basically allow you to really easily add special effects to the whole team, basically. So if you go to this link here, metricasports.com, I'll share this link. What you do is you create an account, a free account. You download what's called Metrica Play, and it's the free version, and you install it on your computer. And then you create one free project. You can create one free project with up to 30 visualizations, okay, which is probably enough for one project. All right, so I can show you an example. All right, so again, I'm going to share this this slide deck with you, so you'll be able to get all these links and stuff. But just let me show you what it looks like. Where's Metrica? There we go.
We should go.
Someone's got their mic on. Can you just
basically this whole thing?
Sorry, did someone have a question? So you can see here, this is app called Metrica. If I just go backwards here, it's going to create a new, what you call a new playlist. Yeah. So once you create an account, you actually, it's a bit of a weird system. It's kind of complicated in a way. The version we're going to use doesn't necessarily use the cloud, although it'll give you the option to that if you want to pay more. So we're going to do this manually. And so here, all I've done is I've got a blank folder. Within this, you can actually, you can create a local project, okay, a local video project, call it whatever you want, like my highlight clips and whatnot. And the way it's set up, it wants to call it a game because it's thinking that you're coding a game. Okay, so if I go into my playlist down the bottom that I've already created, we can add highlights into here, and I'll show you why that's important. So I've just created a playlist called, so we can create as many playlists as you want, and you can only use one of them at a time for the free version, right? So I can call it my highlights, my goals, my defensive challenges, whatever you want to call it, all right? And then within here, you can add your video. So you just import it in, and I'm just trying to remember how to do that. So just give me a sec. I think you just click on these three dots here, and you can add a slide if you want. So it'll actually work with PowerPoint to add a slide in. You can also add your video files as clips, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to add those clips in, and let's just see if we can show you a couple of things quickly. Where is it? It's in downloads. No, where's your highlights? The ones I just did. Let's do. Here we go. VO highlights club Roma. So if I click on one of these, it should be enough just to give you an example of what we want to do. How about we do that one? Let's see what that is. No. All right, so I'm going to open this and see what happens. So sometimes it just takes a minute to show up. So just bear with me. Okay, so you can see here, it's got the clip is processing. It's just taking a second. Just wait for that to happen. So what we're going to do is we're going to click on this, and we're going to edit it. All right, so it's ready now. So if I click on that, if I look here, I can show or hide the clip. It has that eye feature or eye sort of icon. So I can hide it or I can show it. I can annotate it. I can play the clip, or I can put it into a presentation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the annotations feature, and this is where the cool stuff happens. So it's basically got an automatic chroma key, which means it figures out what the lines are and what people are. Basically, you can see here, it says current annotations. That means I've got 0 out of 30 annotations or pictures or images or text that I want to add, that I can add. We add them over here. So if I press play, you see here, we've got the play going. I'm just going to let it run on a little bit until I find something that I want. Okay, so this is me. So this is why I wanted to show you this app. So because if I want to highlight myself, maybe I just do it for a freeze frame at the start of the clip. Maybe I've trimmed this clip down a little bit just to make it a bit shorter. But what I can do is I can just add visualizations onto that. You can be an ID, so you can put your ID as a player. You can do a spotlight feature. So if I click on, who's that over there? Can someone tell me who it is? I can't read it. I can't see who it is. I don't know who it is. But anyway, I'm going to add that. And what it does is
I thought it was Kate.
It's Kate. Oh, it's Kate, right. So I don't know if you can see this very well. but it's basically got a little black box around Kate, and I can make that box bigger or shorter. You can see here, I can move it. And what this box does is it basically tries to figure out where the player is as the clip proceeds. Now, if I want to add an ID to this, and if I want to, there's some fancy things you can do where you basically tell the computer where the lines are on the field, and it'll work out how fast Kate's running. So you can actually have her speed live above her as she's running along. So it's kind of a cool feature if you wanted to do something, extra, but I wouldn't use it in one of these clips. It's good for development, showing in other things, right? So, but what I could do is I could say, well, I might not want to show her speed, but I might want to show her number, etc. So just give me a second. 3D. So I'm just going to click on that. Why is that not? Oh, here we go. So you see there's like so there's a space for her number. So let's say Kate is number 7. I'm just going to add that on. And underneath that, I'm going to put her name. So Kate, Laurie. Okay. And then the effect I've got is Spotlight. Now with Spotlight, I can make that size bigger by dragging that, or make it smaller. And it's basically based around that box where Kate is, okay? I can make it taller, so you can actually see the effect going all the way to the ceiling, or shorter. I can increase or decrease the opacity, which basically means how dense it is. So I can make it really, so you can't even see her, or I can make it kind of light so you can see her and it's just sort of sparkling around her or shimmering around her, okay? So that's called the spotlight effect. You might have seen that on TV with the when they're doing the, review. You can actually change the color that's underneath Kate. You can make it a solid ring, or you can make it or you can just make it transparent with the ring rotating like that. So ring border. And you can change the color there by clicking on that and changing it to whatever you want. You can make it red, you can make it blue. If we want to make it Burlington blue, you can maybe do that. There you go. All right, so you can do that. Now, the thing is, Kate's going to be traveling. If you want, you can just actually create a pause there. So I've already created the effect. So I'm just going to get rid of that effect. Okay, I'm going to click yes, I want that effect. But for now, I actually just want to do, I just want to add a bit of a pause. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the plus again. You can see the effect here. So this is the effect I've already created. Now this can work in layers. So you can actually get a few things working all together. So the other thing I could do is add a pause. I probably should have added this first. All right. So you can add a pause with text. You can add, so I can put a text in the middle and position that box at the top if I want to, or I can just create a pause and just have it sitting there basically. And I can, you see here, pause duration, you can make it 5 seconds, however long you want, 4, 3 seconds. A lot of people tend to use 3 seconds. Now, it's important that I position that where I want it, so that if I want that effect, when I go backwards here, so if I just scrub backwards, you see here, it should pause and then have that image of Kate or over Kate. You see there, it's a little bit off. And so that means that the image is moved at the same time as I was trying to add it to Kate. So I've got to go in there and actually change that. So what I can do there is I can go back into this image like that. And as we move it along, you're going to see what's going to happen is I'm going to move the box to keep up with Kate. So Kate is going to run. Actually, Kate's standing still and the box is trying to go forward. So just let me move that again. So what it's called keyframing, right? So you can see there the box is moved outside the frame of reference. And I've got to get it to catch up or go back towards her. So now Kate has gone outside that box. Now I'm just going to position it back on her, and I'm going to keep doing that. So if I want to do this live and it's following, and you might just want to do this for a couple of seconds, it might just be to show the coach who you are in a clip. I tend to just use pauses because I think it just makes it clear to the coach who you are. Just do it for like 2 seconds. Maybe at the start, maybe you only do it for the first 3 or 4 or 5 clips, just so they know what you look like. And then they're expecting you for the rest. They know what you look like. Yeah. So you don't have to do it all the time. It's just something you might want to do. And it's just can be something cool as well. So you ever want to show people stuff. So that's that one. So if I'm happy with that, what I'll do is I'll see what it looks like. It may be a little bit off. Sometimes the timing, you've got to get the timing right. So you have to play around with it a little bit because it might just show that. So there's a pause. Okay, and then it'll go on. So I can keep that pause or not. So it basically keeps up with Kate there and follows her. You can get rid of her name or your name. You can also do this. So there's other features where you can go, I want to add, so go to the top player visualizations. You can do magnifier. So it could just be, I'm on the other side of the field there. I'm the furthest player away, and I'm gonna zoom myself just so it makes it clear who I am. And again, you can adjust the size, you can adjust the zoom. So you can make that really big, although that looks a bit silly. So you just go like that, and you can just have it for like literally 1 second. You can add it to a pause as well, like we did over here. So you can go again, plus and add a pause. So it just magnifies on you just for that second. And why isn't that going in? Okay, pause. Okay, so it's in there now. So I can make that pause 5 seconds or however long I want. All right. So then it just becomes about trying to match up these effects to match where your pause is so that they basically happen at the same time. So if I go back a second or two here, let's just see what that looks like. So it's gone to that player there, it pauses on her, and then it continues on. Okay, so the idea being once you've created all these annotations, you can then export this out, and you've got a movie that's got your, not only got your highlights, your best bits, but it's also got those special effects as well. Okay, so I just wanted to show you that, and I believe you just do that at the top there by save as, and then I think you can just, no, that actually just saves it as a project, and then I think you have to go into the actual playlist itself and export playlist as video. Okay, so when you're happy with it, you just export it out, you call it whatever you want, and then basically you should have your finished clip that you've taken from VO initially, put into iMovie, and then export it out as a movie with special effects from a playlist. Okay, sorry, that's taken way longer than I thought it would. But did you have any questions on that? So you can let's see if I can get into the other window. Meeting info. Participants. Okay. Sorry, just let me see if I can find this window here. I can't see where you guys are. Not the biggest fan of Zoom. Okay, there we go. I can actually see you guys. So if you want to ask a question, feel free to put your microphone on and your face. You can undo you can do your video, whatever. So any questions on that, girls? Is that hopefully that helps? Is there anything else you want to ask about it at all, or is that we're pretty good? No? Okay. Well, in that case, I'll let you go. I'm just, yeah, I'll just export that video out and put it up. Are you guys okay if I just make that on like available on YouTube or something? But obviously private. Or is there a way I can share it to you a different way? I'm trying to think. Yeah. Normally what I do is, even with my university group, I put it on YouTube, but you can create it as a private list and only the people you invite to it can see it. So if you're okay with that, I mean, I can do it unlisted as well, but it just means anyone with the link can basically see it. So I was hoping to share that with everyone just so they can see how to do it. Is that something, do you think those?
That's how we did all our games last year.
Well, I just mean like presentations. You mean, I'm just talking about for presentations.
Yeah, but that's good for our whole team because that's how we did our videos last year.
Right. Okay. So if I put it on YouTube, I'll add those two bits together. My apologies if that ran out. I need a paid account. But is there do you think that will help? Is there anything you can use from that?
Yeah, I think definitely. Also, is that template that you showed, you said the 17 had it. I don't think we've ever gotten it. So will you send that to us as well? Or maybe we have gotten it, I don't know.
I think I sent it in January, Anamika, but you know what? What I'm going to do is I'll put it all into a Google. I put it onto a Google folder, and I'll share the link to that so everything's in one place, just so you can access it. Is that okay?
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you.
I'll send it out. I've got dinner waiting for me, so I'm going to eat that first, and then I'll send it out to you. So you should have a profile. You should have the slides that you can edit in Keynote or in PowerPoint. In PowerPoint, you're gonna have to figure out how to do the export out as a video, but I'm pretty sure you should be able to do it. And PowerPoint's pretty good. There's a link to Metrica. So what I'll do is I'll send the slides as well, so you can see what the link to Metrica is. Have a look there. There's a free version. As I said, you don't have to pay a cent, and you should be able to do all the special effects that you need to do. If you don't want to do the special effects, and just leave it. I know a lot of players do like to go. Sometimes coaches go, "Which player are you?" You know, and it just looks more professional, I think, to have those sort of special effects where you can sort of highlight yourself and that kind of thing and make it really clear, where you are. If you have a number change as well, there's a feature there where you can add, I'm number 17 in this game instead of number 8, which number 8 might be on your title slide. So I know that can be something just to point out. Yeah, so I'll put all those resources into a Google folder, and I'll share those to you shortly, as well as the presentation. Sound good?
Yep, thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Thank you.
I hope it helps. And before you go, the next step will be, we'll talk about how we approach university coaches, like what should be our strategy. And that's why I need you to fill out that profile form, so that, because once you got that, then we got something to say, okay, now's the time to start doing this and this and this, and for the older ones, you've already started doing it, I know, but yeah, you can still be part of the process if it helps. Okay. Anyway, have a great night, girls. See you tomorrow, and thanks for jumping on.
Thank you. See you tomorrow.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.